Maayong hapon sa tanan nato mga viewers o kita malipayon nga we are on our second episode sa atong programang Frontiers in Mindanao. And salamat kayo sa mga nagtanaw no mga up to date 2,500 viewers and salamat sa inyong pagsuporta o pagsubaybay. And we welcome you to the second episode nga diin kita magtuki sa usa ka topic nga dili kayo hisgutan no sa matag adlaw pero atong gaka experience gaka witness sa atong everyday life which is on same-sex attraction. And akong ipaila-ila, akong kauban karon ko anchor in the today's episode and the succeeding episodes, Dr. Fiona Mary Cabrillas. Ma'am Fion, would you like to greet our viewers?
Hi, good afternoon to all our viewers. Maayong hapon sa atong tanan ug maayo gyud ang Ginoo sa atong mga kinabuhi tungod kay naa sa atong ikaduha nga episode no sa gisugnan last week ni Dr. Francis A. Simene. Og salamat kaayo sa tagingon pa niya kagina 2,500 nga views no last week and amo mong padayon nga gipasalamatan sa pagsuporta sa kaniyang episode sa ato ang Frontiers in Mindanao. So sa gingon pa kaganina, interesado kaayo ang topic nga atong pagahisgutan karon tungod kay in a way makakita ta sa ato ang palibot nga naatay mga friends who maybe is experiencing this situation. So salamat kaayo sa inyong pagtan-aw ug ang among mga pag-ampo nga padayon ta sa pagsuporta.
Okay, salamat Ma'am Fion and i-introduce karong taod-taod no kang ni Ma'am Fiona ang atong resource person kani siya grabe gyud ka busy makita ninyo sa iyang profile nga grabe gyud siya ka busy pero salamat sa Ginoo kay gitagaan ta niyang higayon nga ato siya makauban, makadungog ta, especially ang iyang pagtuon nga gihimo about same-sex attraction. So, Ma'am Fion, pwede nimo i-introduce ang atong resource person.
Okay, so I thank the Lord for this privilege and honor to introduce to you. No, out of his very busy schedule, is also very generous in sharing to us his time and expertise. So allow me to introduce our resource person. So he is a resident counselor and training department head of Amara Counseling and Training Center, which he co-founded in 2015. He is a certified facilitator and trainer for HIV Channels of Hope as of World Vision International since 2010 and AIDS Link International, where he served as a board member. He finished his master's degree in pastoral counseling at Asian Theological Seminar and acquired his license as registered guidance counselor in 2015. He teaches topics in mental health such as understanding depression, trauma, stress management, sexuality, addiction, the craft of forgiveness, psychological first aid, and servant leadership. Currently, he has already submitted the final revision of his dissertation on same sex attraction for the degree in clinical Christian counseling at Asia Graduate School of Theology. He is a certified life skills and self discovery coach of iHelp Coaching and Business Solutions Incorporated, and an author of an ebook entitled Wellness and a Waiting Season and How to Start Anew from the Rock Bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Elaine M. Tita.
Good afternoon, Doc. Would you like to greet our viewers po?
Okay, maayong hapon, Dr. Simene, Dr. Fiona, at sa lahat po na nanonood or nakikinig ng programang ito. Ayun po.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Dr. Elaine. And ang imong dissertation, your dissertation is entitled Understanding Same-Sex Attraction Through Lived Experiences of Filipino Men. Can you tell us the highlights of this study po?
Okay, the highlight of that study is really when I encounter with the respondents as they tell their story to me. That would be the highlight because it's like watching or listening to a story or a movie and recounting their past experiences and understanding at the same time how did it happen to them or how they were able to respond to these events in their lives. So basically, the data gathering, as you may call it in the research, is the highlight of this study.
Okay, ang isa ka, the first question there sa imong dissertation, sa imong pagtuon, ingon siya, what are the lived experiences of MSM, that's men having sex with men, no, in terms of finding their true sexuality, reactions to their same-sex attraction desires, and how they had lived with their SSA or same-sex attraction. Pwede minimo maistoryahan, can you tell us what are the significant findings? Ani nga question po.
All right. Most people, kasi from the outside the LGBT community, people look at the MSM or gay people like the same. But basically, if they only would listen to their stories, iba-iba siya. For example, in the discovery, when they found out that they are having the same-sex attraction, some men, especially from my respondents, they have discovered it at an early phase of their life. Like, for example, I know as a child, I already know I am gay, I having this attraction. But for others, like for the one respondent, he told me that I only thought about it when I was in high school because I never felt that kind of feeling or attraction with another guy. And the other respondent actually explored only this part of his sexuality on his mid to late 20s. So those are different ways how these men discovered that, okay, I am attracted with the same sex. And too bad that most people think of these people as, one and the same, but actually the way they look at themselves are also different, especially when at how they reacted when they first found out, okay, I am having this attraction. Am I normal or am I sinful or what will I do? And some people are scared finding out that, okay, I'm different from the rest of the boys of my age. So those things.
Yeah, it so happened no nga si Dr. Fiona daghan siyag mga kaila, mga friends nga murag parehas ang describe nimo nga imong participants. Ako pangutanon si Ma'am Fiona kung as part of validation kato kay respondents man ni Dr. Elaine. How about sa atong mga friends o mga acquaintances, mga kaila, Ma'am Fion?
So, isa no or sa daghan no sa isahon lang siguro or asa ato ang tatak sa kong ulo karon. So, isa ato kay naibalan niya nga kanang gay di ay siya kay pagkamatay na sa iyahang papa. So, naay murag ko actor pud ay din murag high school na pud siya ato. Dayon ang isa murag pareha-pareha sa kanang giistorya ni Dr. Elaine no nga sa iyahan ng 20s niya na discover pod nga kanang attracted day siya towards sa iyahang opposite sex. And makakita ta nga lahi-lahi di ay ang kanang mahimo nga rason no kung isa kay kato namatay ang iyahang papa, do ang isa kay murag kanang aya pa niya na diskubrihan no nga kanang yan na iyahang pagbati. Though I have known of another set of friends nga gikan sa iyahang lolo, tito, siya, iya pag yung manghod. Okay.
So
Kay puro sila
it runs in the
gays.
family.
Oo. So like, ang iyang giingon kay, maybe it is really there in their system, no, nga as a family, nga kanang gay sila. Like, they really are attracted towards their opposite sex. And it is varied, no? Kay ang isa mar around 50s, if I'm not mistaken. Then, of course, it continued na, no? So, 50s, 40s, then kato akong friend around mga maybe 30s. Then, iyaha na yung manghudpod nga in 20s still, kanang discovering his attraction towards the opposite sex.
So ang implication ana Ma'am Fion and Dr. Aleno is like ang discovery nga naday kay same-sex attraction, it could happen in any phase in your life, like karon makita nako no sa among lugar nga mga bata pa sila moamin na gid sila nga homosexual sila, or ang tawag ana sa amo Ma'am Fion is bading sila, so admit gid nila, accepted sa family. So pero katong giingon nimo nga pagkamatay sa iyang papa ay niya na discover nga ang ana din posible siya Doc Alain na nga siguro at that time mahadlok siya, so suppressed ang iyang feeling, pero pagkamatay sa iyang papa mura gigawas unsa kay explanation na Doc Alain?
Yeah, it's also not really normal, but it happens more common for some, that when their father passed away, that's the only time they explore, because of for many reasons. One of the reasons is giving respect to their fathers, or not giving them some shameful behavior as way of giving respect or love to their parents or to their fathers. But yeah, I also heard those stories that when their father is gone, that's the only time they explore. But basically, upon discovering, it's already there, probably. Especially when the person becomes conscious about his identity, they are just trying to suppress it because of many factors outside, the social factors, the stigma, and all those things. That's why you try to suppress it, thinking about the family behavior, the family reactions, and their friends. That's why they are looking for the right timing when they choose to come out finally and be true to themselves.
So na ay mga triggers, no? You had been in the counseling for many years, and you co-founded resident counselor and training department, head of Amara Counseling and Training Center. So siguro daghan na imo na counselan nga ing ani nga mga kaso or cases, unsay nakuha nimo or nabal-an nimo nga mga struggles, especially mga individuals, considering nga dili pa kay na siya accepted gid kaayo no sa ato muna na mga suppression nga gakahitabo regarding same-sex attraction. Unsa ang mga struggles nila? I think na-cover gyapon na siya sa imong pagtuon, Doc Alain.
But basically, depende sa client. If the client is, meron tayong tinatawag na ego-syntonic homosexual or clients, meaning when you say a person is ego-syntonic men with same-sex attraction, they are happy and contented with their SSA. There's another client called ego-dystonic, the opposite. They are having the same-sex attraction, however, they are not happy with it. They are so with those category, if I may say that, they have different struggles. For most of the ego-syntonic I have counseled, their problem usually comes out of relationship. Okay, like cheating, sexual behaviors, and all those things. So it's basically relational issues with the other guy is their struggles. When it comes to ego-dystonic men with SSA, most of the time their struggle is how to stop the attraction, how to stop the sexual urges, how to stop sinning in thoughts, in mind, in heart, and the behavior as well when they are in private, in their privacy, things like that. So these are two sets of struggle. Guilt feelings and all those things are also one of the things they would like to address and help them, would like me to help them out how to process all these feelings. So it's a different, okay? It falls under these two categories.
So first na categorize no kung ego-syntonic, they're happy about it, and ego-dystonic. Kami ni Ma'am Fiona nasa Victor's Crown United, naapod mi sa ministry, so maybe later nami ipangutana ano na lang, pro bono lang sa doc. So at least we can understand ani nga mga sitwasyon kay si Ma'am Fiona is into languages and education, and ako is social sciences, ikaw man gid ang naa sa psychology and counseling. We have one sa Victor's Crown nga ego dystonic siya. So, he's struggling kay murag he wanted to change. So,
Yes.
any way nga masabtan nato sila unsaon nato pagdeal ing ani nga kuan nga they're not comfortable pero they're struggling towards that nga gaka-attract sila pero they want to change. Any tips or any guide?
Okay, for ego dystonic men with SSA, it would be very, very hard if they would really like to change, depending on the change that they would like to happen. But the first step, whatever that is, for their purpose of changing, is to accept it and not fight it. Okay, I accept I have same sex attraction. It's part of me, it's part of who I am, it's part of my identity. That's the first step. Second step, okay, now that I have accepted I love myself, though it's easier said than done, it will take some time, it will take a process. And sometimes it takes people for the person to realize that you have to love yourself with all this stuff, including your SSA. So it's easier said than done. But the first step is to accept it. Second step is what are you gonna do about it? What kind of change would you like to do? Would you like to be straight or would you like to be holy? Things like that. Because in the course of most, especially in the church context, when they found out if a person, whether men or women, is having the same sex attraction or they are gay, easily they would like to convert these people to become straight. That is not the path towards the change. The path is healing of loving yourself more, embracing yourself more, despite having all the issues that you have, including the same-sex attraction. And it will take some time really for the person to do that. Okay?
Yeah, that's why no sa Romans, ang ministry sa Holy Spirit is to shed abroad the love of God to us.
Yes.
It's possible na they become nakapaingon sila sa same-sex attraction because of certain circumstances, and I think baga man kayo ang study gid ni Dr. Alain, so that's I know nga that's covered because I'm part of that study also. So, before mag-ask si Ma'am Fiona, we'll pause for a break for some commercials. Okay, we're back. Thank you for staying with us. And again, with my co-anchor, Ma'am Fiona, and our resource person, Dr. Alain M. Dizon. Si Ma'am Fiona, Doc, nga siya pangutana.
Yeah, so sa ato ang mga nahimong respondents, sir, I believe they are under 20s, 30s, 40s, no? And unsa po ang ilahang mga views spiritually atong kaning same-sex attraction, so sexual attitude, behavior.
Doc Alain?
Doc Alain? Yes po.
Baka,
Yes.
okay.
So the question is for me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So unsa po ang ilahang mga views spiritually po on same-sex attraction, sexual attitudes, and behaviors?
So views my views or views of
The respondents po.
my respondents.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I have 4 respondents actually, and one of them is agnostic. Okay, but he came from a evangelical Christian background. Okay, the rest are Christians, but the 2 are evangelical Christians, and the other one is a Catholic Christian. So it really matters what faith background they were coming from because it really affects the way they view themselves and the way they view the issue. For example, for the agnostic respondent that I have, of course, he is egosyntonic. For him, it is part of who he is and he is enjoying it, and everything that he does is for his own good. So for him, it's also glorifying the universe. That's how he termed the higher being, if he still believes on that. While the others, funny, they recognize that having an SSA is not really a sin. It's part of who they are. And especially for the two evangelical Christian respondents, they recognize, they accept the fact that, okay, I have SSA, but it doesn't define me. It's not. It's just part of my identity, but it's not really who I am as a person. They their view on it is just one of the many struggles that they have. One of the many brokenness that the world has. Unfortunately, they are the ones having it. Okay, while the Catholic Christian, for he believes that it is a sin, the behaviors, he is aware of it. However, he accepted the fact that, okay, God knows that I am a gay, but and I believe he made me this way, so I don't think he will disagree with whatever that I do. However, when it comes to feelings, after having sexual encounter, he cannot explain why there is always this guilt feeling, there is shame, and there is this emptiness that he keeps feeling one after the other experience that he had in before.
I,
So it's really the views spiritually coming from their belief, whether they are coming from a Muslim faith, a Catholic Christian faith, or the evangelical Christian faith. It depends on those things.
Yeah. So, lahi ra gyud kung naa siya kung ano kanang nakay specific person in mind and na-interview nimo, na istorya nimo kay ang tan-aw nila sa ilang pagbati same-sex attraction depende sa ilang gituhuan, no?
Yeah.
Like sa atong mga na-encounter man fiyon is
Yeah.
especially na ako ginote diri no sa Leviticus 18:22, NIV version siya, do not have sexual relations with a man as one does with a woman, that is detestable. And sa internet makita nato ni siya no nga gidiscuss gyapon sa Romans chapter 1 verses 26 to 27. For this reason God gave them up to dishonorable passions, for their women exchanged natural relations for those that are contrary to nature, and the men likewise gave up natural relations with women and were consumed with passion for one another, men committing shameless acts with men and receiving in themselves the due penalty for their error. So kung ang imong gituhuan is naagid sa Bible, so it follows nga ingana ang imong pagtan-aw sa same-sex attraction. Kadaghan ta kuan man few no over the years nga nauban nato sila ato maingon sa duha ka kategory nga gihatag ni Doc Alain nga ego symptonic and ego dystonic. It's more on ego dystonic sila. So that's why nga magpatabang sila no kay they are not comfortable with that. Ang gikuan gyud since nagsunod man ta sa Biblia is gingon ni Dr. Alain nga first we recognize nga ing ani ang imong gibati kay para matabangan ka. No, like for example, ang ato ginkuan is you pray kay not by might nor by power but by my spirit says the Lord. And so daghan sad nga ingon nato they were able to break away from that. And now sama sa giingon ni Doc Alain nga would you desire or want to be straight or kung asa ang imong inclination, no? So
I have actually, ma'am,
yeah.
naasad ko na this just actually pops up my mind while nag-discuss po no kay kanang I have known man good pod of like two persons, though they maybe are attracted to the same sex that they have, but they're also married. What are some thoughts about that po?
Yeah, Doc
Doc
Alain,
Alain.
I think I can
Like-
relate to that, Ma'am Fion. I know somebody.
Yeah,
Oh, sa
not just on
school.
gays, I
Mhm.
believe, but it can be true
Yeah.
to the other like lesbians, maybe like that po.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have clients also like that. They are married, they have a family, but they have this issue of same-sex attraction.
Opo.
And upon hearing their side of the story, of course, unfortunately, getting married is their one way to fight the attraction. Okay, at least for those who are aware of it, because there are also clients that are exploring. They are not categorizing themselves as gay or lesbians, but they are loving the pleasure of doing the sexual relationship with the same sex. So for this type group of people, it's they are confident that I am straight. It's just that I have this longing to look for more aside from the what the marriage is being offered to us. So in short, if I'm going to interpret that as a counselor, there is something missing in their relationship as a couple because why this person will still look for other for pleasure or for satisfaction. While for the other group of people who knows that from the very beginning they know that they are having this SSA, they choose to get married because they believe that it's the right thing to do, it's the expectation. But then upon getting married, there's another category, those who know, disclose to their wife or husband, and those who did not. They are just the ones suffering in silence, alone. So they have different struggles. So like I said, like the respondents' view on this, it's part of their brokenness as a person. Okay, it's part of the many temptations like the straight men and women has in their lives.
Yeah.
So that's how they consider it. But for these clients, of course, they feel somehow a little bit off about themselves because for them it's not a normal scene or not a normal behavior. That's why again we will go back to how they are going to view these things and where these views are coming from. That's why it's really important where these people are basing on the foundation of their beliefs, of their perception about themselves, particularly about this issue.
I was actually, I thank you so much for that. And I actually have read somewhere po that it is indeed from the theory, if I'm not mistaken, that you have the Bible is indeed the author, no, when it comes to either psychological or counseling decisions. So if I believe, no, these friends of ours would happen to maybe awaken with that idea or illumine at least with the word of the Lord, then in one way or another, it can help if their decisions or their actions for I believe that's how the word of the Lord can really change no our lives, and especially if they really have that encounter with Jesus Christ. But if you are a friend po, say for example, if you are going to like give some advice or just talk with them, what will be the manner, like how are we going to speak with them like that, if you have an idea po?
Yeah, if that person is a friend and a close friend of yours, you have the responsibility to tell the truth, to speak the truth in love.
Yeah.
But you have to respect whatever his or her decision or respond to your belief, to your truth. And we also have to find the proper way, the right timing, and all that stuff. Because first and foremost, we need to make them feel that they are loved
Yes.
unconditionally despite their issues, whatever that is, not just SSA, every issue they're carrying
Yeah.
as a burden. They need to feel safe and loved unconditionally by us because that's what Christ has done to his disciples, to all of us, that despite our brokenness, our sinfulness, even in our present state, God's love remains, God's remains to us. So I think that's the model that we need to go after or to follow when we talk about the truth, we speak the truth, is to follow what Christ has done in the gospel. That's why I really love the gospel because it sets as an example how are we going to talk to the outcasts, to the sinful people around us.
Yeah.
And God has clearly demonstrated that to us through the works of Jesus Christ in the gospel. And we have not just one gospel, we have four
Yeah.
to look for.
Yeah.
That's so helpful.
Oo.
And then if I may continue.
Yeah. Sige, Ma'am
Doc
Pion.
Fred.
Yes, yes.
The thing po is, yes, I would agree with you po that when we indeed address no to these in a way in pain, lost, last, least people, we become light and salt to these people po. How about
Yes.
another challenge, like if they have built up really walls among them, like it's difficult to like penetrate on the very essence of their hearts. What would be your advice po?
Okay, yeah, there are also people. I have friends like that actually, but I never stop being a friend to them.
Okay.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Because if you believe that your relationship as friends are genuine and it's God honoring, no matter what the conflict may have, whatever conflict that comes between the two of you, you will retain or choose the right decision of sustaining the relationship, even if they're putting up some walls because they don't want to talk about it. Because let's face the fact that probably they are not ready to face this issue themselves. They are not prepared. So we will give them time to do that and let them be. Okay? But in other areas, yeah, you can, why not, continue to relate with them.
Yeah.
So just continue the relationship.
So as a Christian
Yeah.
friend, we can
Yes.
do like praying for them, no, offering them to God, so that I believe, yeah, while on the way in physical, like we can continue to become friends with them. The Lord
Yes.
also will be doing His part as well in changing his life, in intervening, no, with our prayers for them. So yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much for that po.
Mo nag-ingon ni Doc Alain nga speak the truth in love, and then kung tinuod ka nga friend mag-pray gid ka, no, kay struggle is real gid like gi-mention ni Doc Alain is some consider marriage as a way of escape because they feel na it's the right thing to do, but dili nila ma-disclose, they suffer in silence. And I'm just wondering, Ma'am Fion ba, kay ilan ni Doc Alain sa Manila man sila, parang kuan kay sa ilan na okay ra, I go into counseling, pero we know that in some areas, and perhaps like ours siguro nga, murag, na stigma kung moadto ka og counselor, mura bitog ka nang lala na gid kay imong problema. So the more that they cannot be helped because of that stigma. And to think nga during the first episode ang gidiskusyon is in Northern Mindanao, Doc Alain, there are only 2 psychiatrists according to the majority floor leader counselor na kaya. And imagine serving so many people, and to think nga ang rising problem karon is ang mental health. So, anak nga mga case, Doc Alain ba, like they suffer in silence. It's good na if they know somebody nga pwede nila maistoryahan, pwede makasabot sa ila, makaguide sa ila. Doc Alain, how prevalent is that nga cases like this and they go to the counselor and they were able to seek help?
Well, they only seek help when they cannot handle it anymore. That's the culture of the Filipino, in my experience, okay, as I observe. And upon asking them, so why did you just come now? I mean, you've been suffering for so long. And because, yes, that's the stigma, because they are afraid of seeing a mental health practitioner like us. So that's why we need to educate the people that mental health professionals like us or attending their mental health, it is as a healthy way of taking care of yourself. It doesn't mean that you are struggling with a mental health issue. That's why you are seeing a psychologist or a psychiatrist. It's one way of taking care of yourself. So we will go back to that another advocacy, which is mental health awareness, and because we need to you call this, to labanan yung stigma when it comes to mental health, because it's affecting nowadays, especially this pandemic, and this is the only time that people are paying attention to their own mental health and seeking help. Actually, tumaas yung aming clientele because of this pandemic, because they are suffering from depression, anxiety, struggle of all kinds. So we need to destigmatize people when it comes to mental health and seeing a counselor para ma-avoid yung ganong suffering in silence, because it's not healthy. Now, good if you are part of a church community where you can trust a few people, because the church is created for that, for relationship, for you to grow despite of your struggles with your group, small group, things like that. So you can open all these things and share, because that's the way, only way, one of the many ways to get healed from all this brokenness. So yeah, education, telling people that it's not bad. You don't have to think negatively about mental health practitioners and all these
Yeah.
things. So people will go if they need professional help.
Okay, experience nato ma'am Fion no
Yes,
sa
po.
kanang USTP sa University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, mi Doc Elaine, and I think you know that sometimes kung naami kuan nga mga estudyante nga I think dili na namo kaya at our own level nga teacher advising, so we refer them sa counselor, and murag naagid sila kanang unsay tawagan na ma'am Fion sa English, aversion, nga murag dili sila, murag lahi ang ilang tan-aw. So that's why we're so happy nga you are with us. We know nga kung mo taas pa gyud no ang viewers ani, more than 2,500. So it's a way of helping no ang atong mga katawhan how to fight depression and trauma. Gwapo kay mauna siya ang expertise gyud ni Doc Alain. And since ang USTP is has a tie-up with the city government, so na meet na mo Ma'am Fion ang sa CSWD. And nakita mo grabe ang function sa CSWD, CSWD, and naa sila yung mga counselors pod, pero I believe not enough, maski sila maingon they don't have enough to serve many people. No, especially Doc Elaine, ang suicide cases is also dili gid ingon nga kanang sa nabalita lang no, kay ang na-report daghan pero ang na-publish dili synchronized sa madungga nimo nga kani sila nag-suicide. And in fact akong previous school before, na-mention gyapon na mo sa first episode nga love life lang, nagbulag sila or may problema sa relationship, and then mga junior high, mga senior high, and they committed suicide and they really died no nga kanang ing-ana nga mga cases. So we hope na this program, especially we have with us our expert si Doc Elaine, we're able to help our viewers. And we hope na someday ma-change ilang tanaw sa mga counselors nga it doesn't mean nga ang ila siguro labo ang ko kay maadto ko og kanang counselor. So it's not that. How can you explain, Doc Elaine, the role of a counselor nga murag mawala ang ilang kahadlok ba nga manha og counselor?
Well, counselors, especially in the school setting, now that you've mentioned it, is to really help the student to process what they are going through. So that's the counseling part. The guidance part is guiding them on the right path, on the right direction, and right decisions. That's why they call guidance counselor. Alright? Now, like I am a registered guidance counselor, but I'm not working in the school, so I'm more of counseling people. And with my degree, PhD is psychotherapy, so I'm also seeing some people with personality disorders together with a psychiatrist, because I'm not allowed or licensed to give medication. But basically, the role is really to guide the students or the people by telling them or giving them not really advice, but helping them to see the other options, okay, on the problem that they are facing, that they are dealing with. So that's basically the role of counselor. That's why people need not to be afraid, seeing a counselor, because they would think that they are some mental problem
Yeah.
or issues.
Yeah.
All of us have mental issues. Come on, viewers. All right, we have all issues. It's just that we need to actually salute those people who are seeing or seeking mental health professional, because they are brave enough to face
Yes.
their own issues. Okay? So I'm not saying that you are a coward. Maybe you are not ready. It's just that, these are the things we need to consider when we are thinking about counselors, psychologists, and psychiatrists.
Okay, so Naa kay gisulat nga book. I know you told me last year, no, when we were chatting,
Yes.
you published a book, How to Start Anew from the Rock Bottom. Parang
That's interesting.
yeah, interested kayo, especially nga the minister gyapon mi no, so through Victor's Crown. But we would like to ask you what is the book all about para sa atong viewers and how they can access this book. Is it an ebook or available in National Bookstore? When we come back after a break, Doc Alain.
Yes.
Okay, we're back and ang last nato nga kuan ni Doc Alain is about his book recently published on how to start anew from the rock bottom. So very nice title palang daan. So can you tell us more about this and how can our viewers access this book po?
Okay, you cannot access that yet because I haven't published it yet.
Oh, okay.
The published one is the Wellness and Waiting Season.
Mm-mm.
It is a product of the pandemic because most people are waiting for the pandemic to end. And then I realized, why not write a book on waiting? Because I was struggling with waiting that time.
Mm.
That's why that book is a product of the quarantine. And I realized as I wrote the book, it's about waiting actually of the certain milestones in your life, waiting to graduate for students, waiting to make their dreams happen, waiting for a boyfriend, a girlfriend. So we have been waiting all our lives for all these things. So why not write? People are struggling with these things. So I wrote the book, Wellness and Waiting Season. So it's not only applicable for the pandemic or quarantine, but it gave me the idea to write the book. The other, it's available in my at payhip.com, but if you want to know the link, you can actually visit my blog, simply therealyou.wordpress.com. So it's there. Okay, so if you are a blogger, you know WordPress,
Yeah.
just
Yes.
type simply the real you, because that's my advocacy to help people to be true to themselves, who they are in their true self in God. Okay, that's my personal advocacy. So you can find the link there. The other, wait for it. I'll publish it hopefully
Okay.
once I finally graduate because I'm waiting
Okay.
for some things to happen.
Yeah.
Okay? So, yeah, there.
Yeah, nag-istorya mi ni Ma'am Fiona during the break nga especially sa among mga estudyante no nga nakulong sila sa balay, dili sila kagawas and sometimes na ay conflict sa siblings, sa parents. So they would like to drop out from school. So amo gyud ga-encourage as mga teachers nga laban lang, kaya na to ni. Let's finish together, laban lang. So parang this book, yeah, fighting, no? So I think we're about to end para at least na ay time for parting words kay Doc Alain, atong resource person, and later on kan Ma'am Fiona. Doc Alain, do you have any message, parting words to our viewers po?
Okay, siguro ito lang, when it comes to dealing with SSA, with our friends, people, even if those people that we don't know about, the difficulty really is how to love them unconditionally, especially if you are a Christian or you are coming from a strong faith background. It will be really hard for you to love these people. But always go back to the basic principle that God loves you, including all your sinfulness as well. So it will help you to take your eyes off their unacceptable behavior and sins, if that's what you call it, but it helps you to bring back to your own sinfulness and brokenness so that you will be able to love them the way you love yourself. Okay? It's easier if people are ego dystonic or they are struggling with it because for me personally, it's Christ is the only way for them
Yes.
to have that true identity in Christ, in God through Christ. The more challenging is those people who are happy with the way they are.
Right.
And that's we need extra effort to love them unconditionally, to love them more beyond ourselves. So I guess that's the only words I could give to our viewers. This is too short. This is a very complicated topic. There's so many
Yes.
things that they would like to address, but again, for in this case, true love conquers all.
Yes, no. So from beginning to end, first page to the last page of the Bible, it really talks about the love of God and the love of Christ. We're so blessed. Your ministry, dili sa yon, dili na namo kaya ni Ma'am Fiona, but we can only do our part. We can pray for you. In fact, nag-share ko sa imo reading sa mga struggles sa transcript sa imong participants. Murag bugat kayo dalon siya ba nga as kanang counselor, but you were able to make it and you're doing good. God is using you mightily sa imong ministry. So we're praying for you po. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, yeah, for your time. And we'll wait for your book and more books to come to help more viewers and people, especially here in the Philippines. Kay mas masabtan man gud siya nga contextualize no ang pagsabot sa usa ka sitwasyon. So thank you, Doc Elaine. I would like Dr.
Yes,
Fiona.
Yes. So, ako kay dagan kayo gyapon ko natun-an karon no, labi na kana sa systolic and dystonic no nga ni Doc Aline kaganina. And yeah, wala may imposible diha sa Ginoo. So padayon ta nga magampo sa atong mga friends no. Labi na sa ako kay daghan kayo ko mga friends nga
Yes.
ingon ana no. And salamat sa Ginoo kay gitagaan ta og kabug-ato ni God nga really magpray sa ilaha tungod kay dili lang man kita ang gibubuan sa gugma ni God, pati man sila. So God let the sun shine to everyone. Let it be sick, not sick, rich, poor, no, the needy or not needy. And
Yes.
salamat sa Ginoo kay si God ang source sa atong gugma, or si God gyud ang love.
Amen.
So mo na nga mo outpour ang atong gugma pagsabot sa ato ang ani nga mga friends. So nagingon pa ni Doc Aline kaganina no nga we continue to be good friends to these people. In a way, I believe we can minister unto them by being loving friend to them
Yes.
and continually ushering them in prayer no sa kang God, kay si God na dayon ang magmilagro sa ilahang mga nabuhi, even sa katong happy sila sa ilahang disposition karon no. And salamat po sa Ginoo kay kung padayon nga kana bitong labi na og kung naa sila makit-an ba nga kana bitong organization or center ba kaya nga whom they can really express themselves, or they can find accountable friends or partners whom they can entrust their confidence or their trust. Then hopefully kanang friend pod kay kana bitong masaligan gyud sa iyahang mga sikreto sa kinabuhi, and then can also offer prayer for that person. Then I believe kanang malig-on siya, then we might not know sa gingon pa ni Doc Aline kaganina, si Jesus Christ lang ang pag-o ana nga tao no, or sa tanan nato kay sige pakita man tanan ay issues no mentally. So and above all else, I believe that's spiritual too, and it's God only who can really change us sa 2 Corinthians 5:17. And then so kung makasik sila og ingon ana nga kanang organization or center nga ano at least ma-help sila no, na dili further ang ilahang situation, and nagingon pa dinha sa ilahang pag-reveal sa ilahang situation, then comes healing. So I pray
Yes.
nga indeed no to all our friends out there, we love you all for who you are, because I
Yes.
believe that we are loved by God because of
Amen.
our even in our imperfection. And nagingon pa walay hugaw, walay grabe kadaot sa ato ang kinabuhi nga dili malimpyuhan ug dili mapasaylo.
Amen.
Ana man ta kagihigugma ni God. So,
Amen.
padayon lang yun, no? Fighting
Yes,
sa ato
fighting.
Let's persevere.
Oh.
That's what I always tell to my students,
Yes.
no? Kay at the onset kay I tell them nga kani kay klase dili man kay ta magkita ay, so kanang if we do everything in love, then that becomes worship unto God. And if there is one encouragement I will give to them is that you finish the race that God has started for you. For I believe that God will really accomplish no his plans, his purposes in your, because he is really the God of finished business, the God who really accomplishes his promises.
Thank you, Ma'am Fion. Before we say goodbye, we would like to thank our sponsors. So from time to time, no, we si Sir Mark, our technical staff, presents ato mga sponsors, and to the CEO of Mindanao Daily News Network Digital, Sir Dante Sodaria, and his better half, Dr. Rose Sudaria, our technical staff, Sir Mark and Sir McCoy, and of course to our viewers. So we hope that you've learned a lot from this episode. Daghan na itong natunan, daghan na itong mabalon, and looking forward to the next episode. And see you sa Saturday, next Saturday at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. So magpanalangin ang Ginoo kanatong tanan. Keep safe and God bless po. Thank you.